Chapter 6. At Saib's House. I drove Saucett's tired old car as fast as I could for an hour and a half. Then I was in Westport, a quiet little place with houses here and there on a green hill and sailing boats on the blue sea. This was as far west as you could go in the United States. It was a good place for an ex-con to hide with pals that were not his if he had no enemies. I stopped in front of a small house with a sign that said, "Lunches and Dinners." In the garden, a little man was arguing with some chickens. The chickens were winning. I got out, walked into the garden and pointed to the sign. "Is lunch ready?" He looked up at the sign. "Lunch? That means ham and eggs," he said. "That's fine with me," I said. I went into the house. I sat down at the table, and the little man went off to the kitchen. He came back with a knife and fork and put them on the table. "Too early for a drink, isn't it?" he whispered. I told him how wrong he was, and he went away and came back with glasses and a bottle. I could hear food cooking and a deep voice singing in the kitchen. We drank. "A stranger, aren't you?" the little man asked. I said I was. "From Seattle, maybe. That's a nice suit you're wearing." "Seattle," I agreed. "We don't get many strangers here," he said. "It's not on the way to anywhere. What brings you here?" "I'm looking for goldfish," I said. "I'm a goldfish buyer." "Have another drink. I'm paying." He grinned. "What did you say your name was?" "Carmady. And I'm not kidding about the goldfish." "There's no money in goldfish, is there?" I held out my arm. "You see this nice suit? Goldfish paid for that. There's new kinds of fish all the time, and people always want to buy something new. Now, I heard there was an old guy here with hundreds of fish. Maybe he's got some new ones, and he'd like to sell some of them." A large woman with a mustache opened the kitchen door and shouted, "Ham and eggs!" The little man brought my food to the table. I ate. He watched me. After a while, he suddenly banged his hand on his knee. "Old Wallace," he said, grinning. "Sure, you've come to see Old Wallace. We don't know him very well. He's not very neighborly." He pointed past the dirty curtains to a yellow and white house on top of a hill. "That's where he lives. He's got lots of them." That ended my interest in the little man. Now, I just wanted to leave. I ate my food quickly, paid for it, shook the man's hand, and went out to the car. I was in no hurry. When Rush Mather woke up, he would let the girl out, but they knew nothing about Westport. Sunset had not talked about it when they were with us. I had lots of time. I went down to the sea and looked at the fish for sale. There were some bars and a pool room and a few people with nothing much to do. I didn't see any cops. I drove up the hill to the yellow and white house. There were no other houses nearby. In the garden, a woman in a brown and white dress was cutting flowers. I got out of the car and took my hat off. "Mr. Wallace live here." She was a good-looking woman, quiet and strong. She nodded. "Would you like to see him?" Her voice was quiet and strong too. Not the voice of a train robber's wife. I gave her my name and told her I was interested in goldfish. She went into the house. I looked around me. The air was cold and clear and smelled of the sea. But the northern sunshine felt cool on the skin and had no heat in it. The woman came out again and held the door open.
"He's at the top of the stairs,"
she said.
"if you'd like to go up."
I went into the house of the man who had stolen the Leander pelts.